Welcome to Between the Lines with Margot, the podcast for those aspiring fast-pitch softball players who want to take their game to the next level, create a legacy of leadership and respect, both on and off the field. Again, it is time to invest to be the best.
Hey guys, this is Margot Throat You, and I am here with Tim Puckett today from PT Puckett. Hurt You is a website designed to help student athletes become better at softball and investing in the best. We have a wide range of softball courses covering hitting, pitching, and fielding for your player to use at home to get better. We also offer video analysis, a subscription to Hurt You Nation, which is constantly updated with important information, great drills, and awesome information for the parents of each individual softball athlete. So I want to introduce Tim Puckett. He is located in Leon Valley, Texas, which is right outside San Antonio, Texas, and he is on a mission to help young and old athletes become better and more healthier. Welcome, Tim. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me, Margo.
Awesome. I'm so glad you're here. I want to get a lot of good information to our listeners and for them to understand kind of what they can do in the long journey of playing sports. Because not only do they get to play when they're younger, but they want to have those bodies actually work later on in life to have a healthy lifestyle. So tell me a little bit about Puckett PT and what you offer your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. We focus on treating athletes and athletes of all ages and athletes of any sport. But things that we offer are injury screenings, injury rehab, as well as strength and conditioning and programs that are going to just help you excel in your sport.
Awesome. And how long have you been providing this service to young athletes?
All right. I've been a physical therapist for over 7 years now, and Puckett Physical Therapy is a new venture for me. We've been open a few months now, but physical therapist for 7 years.
Okay. And what did you do before you started your own venture?
Right. I worked at an orthopedic clinic in San Antonio, working with athletes.
Cool. And you did some work with the Spurs, right?
Absolutely. Yes, worked for the Spurs physicians, and so gained a lot of experience there.
Awesome. So what is the average age of client that you're truly helping out when they come into your office?
Right. Average age is a teenager. We see clients as young as 10 years old and up into 60s and beyond, but our average client is the youth athlete, the teenager.
Awesome. Well, I want to get some good information from Tim to help our young listeners and our parents be more ready and equipped for these summer exposure camps, clinics, and tournaments that are coming up. Long days, 10-hour days on your feet. Your daughter is getting tired, and there obviously opens up the door for injury to come in, and we definitely don't want any of our athletes injured throughout this really important, next couple of months. So, Tim, I'm going to ask you a couple questions to better help our listeners understand how important it is to take care of their bodies. So, my first question I have for you is, what is one of the things that athletes should do before competing to prevent injury?
Right. That's a great question. Really, the best thing to do before competition is dynamic warm-up. A dynamic warm-up is much better at preparing the athlete for competition versus a static warm-up or a static stretch. So a static stretch is reaching down, trying to touch your toes, and trying to hold that position for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. That's a static stretch. Versus a dynamic stretch like high knee skips or karaoke or different moving exercises to really dynamically warm up those muscles and joints and prepare the athlete for performance.
Right, and I mean, I've seen a couple of teams warm up, and some of them say, "Oh, we don't have time for that." My assumption is it doesn't really take that long to do a dynamic stretch, does it?
No, it does not. 10 to 15 minutes tops, and you can really get it done quicker than that if you're efficient and you have a game plan.
Right, exactly. And I think too, you don't even need that much space. You could do it maybe in a 20-yard radius, right?
Right. Yeah, you don't need a whole lot of space. And there are dynamic warm-ups for shoulders as well. And that's something that you don't need much space for at all either.
Right. And so what is something that you see a lot of athletes coming into your office doing that might be leading to more injuries that they may not, be able to understand or know about before they go and play or go and compete or go practice.
Right. Really, one of the things is just playing the same sport all year long. 12 months out of the year, and not taking any time off from that specific sport. So really, it's overtraining and overuse that can lead to injuries, especially in the youth athlete. That is what we see a lot with overhead athletes or throwing athletes. It's really easy to throw too much and end up with an elbow tendonitis or some type of shoulder impingement or injury or a bursitis because they're not taking some time off from throwing. And so, that is one thing that people don't realize that can really lead to some fairly serious injuries.
Right. I do believe that, especially in this day and age, we're playing 12 months out of the year. Kids are not getting the breaks. Maybe it's 1 week or 2 weeks, but that's really not enough, is it?
No, it's not. And, when we want some time off from that specific sport, that doesn't mean time off just sitting on the couch. It means doing other things and, doing some cross training. And you can really, really develop your athleticism by mixing it up a bit.
Right. And I do believe that because I see some girls come and train and they have a couple weeks off just from softball in general. Not only physically are they better, but mentally are they better and equipped to be focused up. They're hungry to do better. They're better equipped to be more competitive just in a general sense. And then not only physically. I think that is a really good advice to take is give your daughters some, variety in their lives. Don't go 12 months throwing a softball overhand and having that shoulder, be totally just drained from any type of, rest. It needs rest. All our bodies need rest. And I think it's really important for our parents to keep that in mind. What do you think if a softball player was taking a break? What would you say would be the best second sport or second activity to do in place of softball?
Right. Really, it would be something that the athlete enjoys.
Okay.
So we could certainly make some suggestions, but it needs to be something that the athlete enjoys, because if they don't enjoy it, it's not going to be as beneficial. But some ideas are swimming. You can gain a whole lot of core strength from swimming, and that can be really important for your softball performance. But maybe ballet or dance or basketball. It really doesn't matter specifically what it is, but doing something athletic, doing something that is going to really benefit you. It could even be just an off-season strength and conditioning program. Getting in the weight room or working on speed and agility, different things like that can certainly benefit the athlete.
That's nice to know, and I think that's a really good advice to take, especially for these parents that are a little too hardcore for when they're 10 years old or 12 years old, and they just kind of need to slow down a little bit. What is the most common injury that you see in these young female athletes coming into your office?
Yeah, the most common injury in female athletes is typically a knee injury. There are several reasons why females are actually more likely to have a knee injury as opposed to males. And some of that is anatomy-based. Females have a wider pelvis than males do, and that can set up the knee at an angle that predisposes it to injury. The other is a hormonal component. Females have different hormones than males, and so that can often lead to knee injuries. And surprisingly, there are more ACL tears occurring in softball than there are in volleyball. Volleyball is a jumping and landing sport, and you would think that there would be more ACL tears, but it's not the case. So even in softball, we see a lot of knee injuries.
Right, and I definitely see it in and out of the cages, kids coming in, and they're just younger and younger getting hurt. And I think this is kind of what we're lacking as parents and coaches, is letting them take that time off, get better, build up those strengths around those joints and muscles, and making sure that they're ready long term. What's the best advice that you could give a parent for a young athlete?
Yeah, I'm going to come back to the active rest idea. So, don't play 12 months out of the year. Find another activity, another sport that you can do to have a little time off from softball. And, kind of along that line, in this year's NFL draft, 88% of the players that were drafted were multi-sport athletes when they were growing up. And so it really just lends itself to being able to perform and compete at a higher level. So the advice is, find another activity. Maybe it's just a month out of the year, but still find another activity that your athlete can compete in to take a little time off from softball.
Right, and that's really great advice. So what are some services that Puckett PT offers this summer that some of our listeners could definitely implement throughout the next couple months?
Definitely. So, we could do an injury screen or an injury assessment to see is this athlete at risk for certain injuries based on their movement, whether it's flexibility or strength or posture or biomechanics. So we can do a screening to try and prevent those injuries and then implement a prevention program. It would look like a strength and conditioning program where we're working on all of those areas that the athlete may be lacking in. And another is blood flow restriction training. And that's something that is very, very unique and really cool. A lot of the pro organizations, pro athletes are using it. It's a way that you can build strength without causing wear and tear on your joints. And so basically it looks like wearing a blood pressure cuff while doing mild exercises, but you get significant strength gains while doing it.
Wow, I've never even heard of that. That's really neat. I think these are really, really good ideas and advice to take over the summer, especially if you have the time, the kids are out of school, you can get them to Puckett PT, get them taken care of. Tim, I want to thank you so much for being here with HurtU.com, giving this information, very useful tips throughout the summer and even into the fall when fall ball starts. Make sure that you visit PuckettPT.com. If you use the promo code HurtU, you will get 10% off any Puckett PT service that they offer. And Tim, thanks so much. You are so knowledgeable, and I cannot wait to do more of these podcasts with you. It's great information. This is some stuff that parents just don't seem to think is important until it's too late, right? Too late because they're injured or too late because they're feeling, and they're not performing at 100%. So thank you so much for coming.
Yes, and thank you for having me.
Sure, no problem. Guys, this is Margo with Between the Lines from HurtU. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to invest to be the best.
Thanks for joining us on Between the Lines with Margo. This podcast is brought to you by HurtU Fast Pitch Softball. HurtU provides instructional videos and video analysis for those fast-pitch softball players who want to build their skill set and achieve their goals both on the field and in life. Always invest to be the best.